Let's check out the Gamesir Nova Lite. This is one of the latest controllers by Gamesir. This is the Nova Lite, not to be confused by the Nova, which we've also got a video on, so go and check that out. This one, the Nova, is mainly a Switch controller. It's aimed at a Switch controller, whereas this is a more budget-friendly multi-platform controller. So this comes in at $29.99 here in the UK. That's GBP. So I'm not too sure what it is in USD, but it won't be far off. It'll be around the $30 mark. So it's a budget controller, but don't let that fool you. So whilst this is a no thrills controller, there's no RGB LED or anything like that going on other than the home button just here. We've got rumble, we've got gyro, we do have turbo as well. We've got Hall effect sensing joysticks. That's the main one. We do have analog triggers as well. And being multi-platform, this can go on iOS, Android, PC, Linux, Steam Deck, which is what I'm using just here. And that's how I've been testing this controller, and Switch as well. So yes, it does have an Xbox layout in terms of the face buttons, but the controller itself, as you can see, is kind of, a bit of a mix between a Nintendo Switch Pro controller and the Xbox controller. I'd say it's more of the Switch Pro kind of style. So yeah, it does have the Xbox layout buttons just here, but you can change that just by pressing M and A, and then that will swap that over to a Nintendo layout in terms of how the controller perceives it. Now, when I connected this to my Nintendo Switch and played it, I just thought the Switch would automatically put a Nintendo button layout, and I was trying to play Mario Wonder, what is going on? And that's because the controller forces it to be recognized as an Xbox layout, so I had to manually flip that, so that's one thing to note. On top of those specs, it does have a no Deadzone mode as well. So yeah, we've got Hall effect sensing joysticks, which are already a really small margin of error and Deadzone, but this actually has a no Deadzone mode as well, which is really, really cool. I like that a lot. And yeah, I mean, it's wireless. We've got a USB-C on the top, and just overall, it's a nice controller for $29.99. It's a decent build quality as well. The material's nice, it is just plastic, but I like it. We do have a different colorway as well. We've got a dark blue looking one too. We do have a reset button on back. Again, I haven't seen reset buttons in ages on controllers, right? But this has one. And we also have laser etched grips on the back, which is just still plastic, but actually feels nice in the hand. I'm not getting any kind of overly sweaty slips from it. Obviously, if you're really sweaty, then you're probably gonna have a problem. But it's not too bad, and the comfort of this controller is nice. Obviously, you've just seen there's no back paddles or anything. This is a budget, bare basics, bare bones controller, but I actually really like it. And the first thing I thought is, kind of looks like a Google Stadia because of the white and the orange just here, but I kind of like the look of that controller. So is that a bad thing? I'll let you be the judge of that. But yeah, I'm liking the clean looks, white, black, orange, love it. Now on the front, let's just go over the buttons and stuff. We do have an M button, of course. We have our share sort of button, whatever. I don't even know what these buttons are called anymore. I still would just call them start and select. And then we've got the big Gamesir home button thing on the top just there as well, which is cool. And then we've got our L, B, and RB, and LT, and RT, and all that good stuff. And that's basically it. But yeah, let's go on and sort of feel the buttons and all that good stuff. So starting with the face buttons then, they are all consistent with one another. So they feel really nice, to be perfectly honest. They are just membrane, and obviously I'm a big advocate for mechanical switches, if you know me. But, for membrane, as far as these go, I like them, especially on a budget controller. They all feel consistent, and that's something that some of the third-party companies, I feel, don't understand. Sometimes one's a bit mushy, one's a bit more clicky, and one's a bit more firm. I don't like that when they're inconsistent. I want them all to feel the same, and these do. These are actually really nice feeling for just membrane buttons. And again, they are all consistent. They do stick out, they protrude a little bit, but they have a nice sort of dome on the top of them, which is nice as well. I just like the feel of that. There's nothing wrong with that. Now the D-pad, is okay. It's pretty similar to the Nova, so check out that video as well. But yeah, it's not a bad D-pad. It really isn't, but it's not the best I've ever felt either. But for the price point, again, I can't be too harsh on it. I'm always really critical with controllers because that's just kind of what I do. But this, for the price point, is actually a decent D-pad. It rolls nicely. It's a little bit firm. It's not clicky and crunchy. It's got that kind of traditional D-pad kind of mush going on, but it's all right. You know, it's got a concave on it just there, and it's okay for the price. Like, I would say that. Now, the bumpers just here, so you've got the right bumper and the left bumper, they all feel consistent with one another. So they are a little bit loose, so there's a bit of pre-travel going on the right one. It's the same with the left, but that's me being hypercritical. So like if I'm really gently pushing, there's a bit of movement before it clicks, but they are, you know, consistent with one another is what I'm trying to say. You also then have the analog triggers, which obviously when you've got it in switch mode, this does not work. It just turns into a digital input because the switch just accepts that as a digital input, right? But on everything else, this is an analog trigger, and to be honest, they feel nice. They return quickly. They feel decent. They're nice and springy. There's a good travel on them. If you're playing racing games, for example, this would be really, really nice. I was playing F-Zero GX and it was just nice. The extra buttons as well work nicely as well. You know, they're not like horrible or clicky or mushy or anything like that. They're all consistent with one another, and again, fairly decent. Just, you know, not that anyone cares about the extra buttons, but what I do like is the fact that there's not too many extra buttons. Granted, this is a really like low feature, low spec controller, but I like the fact that you've just got the M button there and nothing else. I like that a lot. So whilst we're here, we do have turbo. So with turbo, what we can do is basically get Batman over here to do an input for me. So if I press now, I'm pressing and holding X, and obviously he's just hitting once and that is it, right? But if I press M and then X, that's now enable turbo, and you can see Batman's just going nuts over here for me, and that is only whilst being held. So if I let go, that turbo will stop, and you'll also see the green light just here go red and it will flash, and I think it's a 20 hertz like input rate, so it's flashing to tell me, hey, turbo's active right now. And to cancel that, you can press M and X, and you can have multiple buttons having turbo as well, which I do like, but that is like the only feature with that M button other than like the no dead zone mode. So what we can do to enable no dead zone mode is press M and then click the stick down for a few seconds. So I'm going to press M and then hold the stick down for a few seconds. It's going to vibrate to let me know like, oh, hey, you've put it in no dead zone mode. And I think I've just turned it off because I think I had it on previously. So I've just turned off no dead zone mode. So you can see there's a bit of dead zone there, right? So I'm going to press M and no dead zone mode again. And now it's vibrated to tell me. And yeah, that's quicker. You know, there's much less dead zone there, more noticeably than on the Gamesir Nova. Now this one felt like it had no dead zone anyway, and then I put the no dead zone mode on and then it just made it even quicker. Whereas this one, I can notice there's some dead zone prior to enabling it, whereas now I've enabled it, you know, you can see that I'm slightly moving the camera, like really, really minuscule. It is moving, it's just really slow, and that is because I've enabled no dead zone. You can do that on both of these as well, which is nice. Now the joysticks themselves, again, they're Hall effect sensing joysticks, so you're not going to get any drift from them. Budget controller winning. Also, they are quicker, they have a quicker input rate as well, and of course they're much lower in dead zone than potentiometer sticks, which is a win. So that I really love. I do like the orange, and to be fair, despite the fact that there's no separate anti-friction ring or metal covers underneath the joysticks, these are really smooth. Like, they feel buttery smooth, just like on the Nova. I really rate these joysticks, and I love the caps. So like the joystick caps there, you can see how much grip's on there, and it is really nice, like really, really nice. But if that's not enough for you, then you can buy separately their joystick pack, like caps, you know, joystick caps, and this will let you tailor your sort of joysticks to however you want, essentially. But this is 14 quid, so it's half the price of the controller again, just for some rubber caps. So it makes it about £3.50 a pair, so it does make it quite expensive if you're going to go for these as well. But you've got a double stack one, you've got this one, which is really cool. It's just like a big mushroom dome, like that a lot. You've just got like a bigger standard one, then you've got like an extended nub. Like, you can call that whatever you want. But yeah, this one's quite cool as well. But yeah, you can get those to stick on it too. Oh, and I totally forgot. It comes with this. So this is a case. Now, I personally really dislike just throwing my controllers into the bag. Now, I go down and do the podcast with AJ, and I'm always taking controllers down there because, you know, we recap controllers that I've reviewed like months ago and stuff like that over on this channel, but we go down and do it on the podcast set, and I'm always throwing controllers in my bag, and I'm like, oh man, the joysticks, what if it gets scuffed? What if the, like, you know, the trigger gets damaged or something because it's just crammed in with everything? That really upsets me. But this comes with this. So you can hear the rattle, and that is because it actually comes with a dongle, which I totally forgot to say as well. But that clicks in there, the controller goes in here like that, and it's a dead fit, done. You know, that is brilliant. Like, you're not going to damage it, it's just protected, really like that. You've got the dongle in there as well, which is really cool. I'm a big fan of that. For $29.99 for the controller, and then throwing this in, that's pretty big, because some people sell these for like a tenner, and it's just a bit of plastic mold. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, but yeah, I commend Gamesir for actually just throwing this in. Love that. So of course, taking the controller out, we do get the dongle as well. So if you don't want to connect via Bluetooth, you can use the dongle, which is going to give a better connection, and I love that. So with the Steam Deck, I've been putting this in my dock, which is behind me somewhere over there, and you know, just connecting to the dongle, and that's great. Now you can, with a series of button presses of the home button and the face buttons, go through the different modes of like PC, iOS, Android, and Switch, and it's just like home button plus one of these face buttons. Now I've got it in the Android mode to connect to my Steam Deck, and that's how I managed to connect it, and it's been absolutely fine. But we do have one more feature, and that is of course rumble. So this does not have HD rumble like the Nova, which actually does have HD rumble. Love that. This just has standard rumble, and you can adjust that by pressing M. And oh, it's not the joystick, it's the D-pad. So you can press up and down like this. So I don't know if you're going to hear it because the microphone's quite far away, but some people have been asking me for like rumble tests. So let's just see if you can hear it on the table, which is going to make it a lot louder. So I'm going to go up. That's 100%. If I let go of the controller, ready? Right, and I'll try it here just so you to try and hear. 100%, 75%, 50%, 25% off. I'll do that again going up. It's intense, but I actually kind of like it. Like, I can't believe I'm gonna say it, because I hate normal rumble. I do. It's normally really tinny and like horrible. I don't like it. But what I do like is when you get standard rumble that's nice and low and has big wide motors going on that make it feel like a weighty rumble. And this has that. So I've been rocking this about 75%, which is default, or even 50% is good as well. But you can see it like shaking in my hand just there. Like, it's a nice, big, low, meaty rumble. It's not tinny, you don't hear it. It's like a real low pitch rumble. And I love that. It's more classic rumble, in my opinion. None of this horrible, cheap stuff. This is decent for normal rumble. I've been having a great time with it. And to be perfectly honest, that's pretty much it. That is pretty much it. This controller is $29.99 here in the UK, and I actually like it. I actually like it. I'm trying to think of things that I could say that I dislike about it, but for the price point, there's not much. Like, the D-pad could be a little bit better, but to be fair, again, for the price point, it's good. You're getting thrown in a dongle and the case. The Nova, which is more expensive, doesn't even come with the dongle. It comes with the case, but it doesn't come with the dongle. So yeah, okay, the Nova has a lot more features going for it, and back paddles and HD rumble and all that kind of stuff. But for $29.99 as a multi-platform controller, this is actually really good. You've got Hall effect sensing joysticks in there that are not going to drift. You've got a no Deadzone mode, so for FPS games and stuff, this is going to be perfect. The life of this controller is going to be great because of those sticks, you know, the Hall effect in there. The membrane buttons, really like it. They're good, you know, consistent button feel throughout. You've got analog triggers, almost said joysticks, but yeah, triggers. And you've got adjustable rumble, wireless. You can play it wired as well. Like there's a lot going for this controller, despite the fact that it doesn't have a lot of features, and I really like that. So well done, Gamesir. I actually highly recommend this. There you go. So that is the Gamesir Nova Lite. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. And whilst you're down there, smash the subscribe button and also consider becoming a member to support the channel. You'll get access to our Discord where you can ask us questions and maybe we'll answer them on the podcast. Or if you've got controller questions and stuff, maybe I'll answer them over here. And you get access to these videos early as well. Now, whilst you're doing all those things, I don't know what I'm talking about, go and check out mine and AJ's podcast over here on the podcast channel where we talk about all things gaming and recap controllers and stuff like that as well. Check out the Gamesir Nova controller video down here as well. And yeah, thanks.